Blogtalk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to the Diva of Days of Our Lives. We're here to talk about the last week of Days of Our Lives this week. And before we do, we just want to tell you that this is our 451st Blog Talk show, and you can check out all our shows here and all our interviews we did, especially the one a couple of weeks ago with Teo Penglis and Leanne Hunley. Be sure to check that out. That was a fun interview. Also, you can check us out on Twitter at Diva of Duel, and we're also on Facebook and iTunes. And I'm Marianne, and you can find me at mama_hooch on Twitter. And we have Jen with us tonight. Hi, Jen.
Hi, I'm at REXJDK at Twitter.
And we have Anna. Hi,
hello. I'm at Kazi Hooch on Twitter. And
you can also find at Bob Hapka and at Amy Hapka, and you can also find at Teo Penglis, at Lauren Coslow, at Guilt Trip USA, who is in Buchanan. So
and
check
also
those
Diva
out.
of Duel.
And,
at Diva of Duel.
And Carrie, Diva of Duel. I keep forgetting she's not coming tonight. Yeah, and Diva of Duel. And let's see, what else? Oh, and also we have football games coming up, as Anna always likes to say on when we're doing football and discussing football.
Yes.
So to add that. I'm not sure. I know the Steelers play tomorrow night at 8. I'm not sure when Kansas City. Do they have a bye or do they play?
They have a bye this weekend. They have a bye this weekend. And
okay, that's what I thought.
I think they play the lowest seed in the AFC, maybe, in the next round, like the next weekend.
Next week.
So
next weekend. Okay, that's what I thought.
And I hate the Titans. No offense to anyone who might be a Titans fan, but I hate the Titans, and that goes back a long way for a lot of reasons. That having been a Houston Oilers fan back in the day, so and anybody who knows that history knows why I hate the Titans. But so I'd much rather see. I don't know if it'd be Steelers or who we'd be playing, but I'm rooting for the Steelers. I always root for the Steelers unless they're playing us.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Steelers.
They got to play better than they did last week because they played Cleveland last week, and of course they didn't have a lot of their starters, but they played like crap. But anyway, they lost. So
we lost
we
our
can beat
game.
Cleveland tomorrow night.
We didn't have our starters, and we still should have won, and we lost.
Oh.
So, yeah.
What was the team that had to use a wide receiver as a quarterback one time?
What's that?
I know one football team had to use a wide receiver as a quarterback because all the quarterbacks were on the DL.
Yeah, well, Broncos about 3-4 weeks ago, I think all of their quarterbacks were on COVID watch or whatever, and so they had to use somebody that I think had been a quarterback maybe at one point in his life or something. Oh, it was awful. I felt so bad.
It was not pretty.
No.
Well, I heard the Cleveland's head coach can't be there on the field because he has COVID. So I'm sure he has somebody else.
I'm not a Cleveland
that'll
fan,
be there. So I don't know if I don't know if that'll make a difference or not. So.
Oh, and that's a pretty good rivalry, isn't it? Isn't Cleveland and the Steelers because they were
Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like
Cleveland and Steelers.
Yeah. Browns, you just like.
Yeah, they're just like they're not far.
Yeah.
Cleveland's not that far from us, but Cleveland.
Yeah. Right.
A mistake by the lake,
right.
but
so that's a big
like
rivalry. Yeah, because I remember they were the Houston Oilers were in the AFC. I think it was AFC back then. With those guys, and I think we had to play
they were
them.
rival. Yeah, Houston Oilers didn't like the Oilers.
No.
Don't like the Oilers either.
Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the football news. Okay. So we're all rooting for.
Jen doesn't get to weigh in until the Mets start playing again.
Hey, they got a
and hockey
pitcher.
starts.
Oh, hockey?
Yeah.
Are you a hockey fan?
Hockey starts on Wednesday.
I like the Olympic hockey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I liked the 1980 Olympic hockey. How's that?
Oh yeah.
That's about what I know about hockey. So what did you get? The Mets did what? Or they got some new players?
They got a pitcher and a shortstop.
They got a what? A pitcher? Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. And then they got the shortstop from Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's hope they can play some baseball this year.
I'm hoping maybe the Pirates and the Royals will, have a decent year this year too. So maybe we'll have some good baseball talk. So,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll be playing. So, yeah.
I'm just happy
as
a football fan. I know all football fans are happy that we actually had a season. I honestly didn't believe it was a season until about 5 games in. So thank goodness for that. But So thanks for bringing up football. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So good luck to the
Steelers.
Playoffs
are starting. Yeah. We have a late game, so be on late. So. All right. So everybody see the show, or part of it, or some of it, or
most of it. I saw most of it. But part of it was preempted, and I didn't realize it was preempted until I was trying to binge watch it today.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go back and watch some stuff online. But so I kind of had to miss some of it, but I caught enough of it to get the gist of what was going on.
Get the drift. Yeah. So I guess we found out about everybody's finding out about Ava having a second son.
Yeah.
Charley.
Now,
what
killed me was on
John.
Wednesday's show, they interrupted the show before it was over, and so I didn't get. I think Thursday. Whatever day Marlena pulls Claire aside to tell her what's going on. So did they show that? Because on Friday they weren't on. So on Thursday's show, did they show Marlena telling her? Okay. So maybe you can share.
She hasn't really. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It starts out, which was kind of weird. I mean, John and Steve talked to Angelo. You remember Angelo was
I'm glad
Ava's cousin.
Yeah.
It's old Angelo, and he's having his dinner. I guess I don't know. I think they went to Italy. Yeah.
Philadelphia.
So and they're messing around with him. Yeah. Philly. Yeah. Oh yeah, Philly. So he's they're talking, and of course they're accusing him asleep, because that's what Steve's thinking. Oh, it was Ava's cousin, and he said, I'm not, I've been in Philly. He says, in fact, wait a minute, when did this happen? Last year. Wait a minute, just call in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, he was in prison. Just check. He says, I had to spend some time in prison. So they called the prison up, verified with that. And so they're going on, and as Steve's explaining the situation about how Tripp is accused of raping this thing, he says, maybe it was Ava's other son. And they all look like, what? He said, Ava's son, Charley. And all of a sudden you'd think John would have, right away jumped up, and he's thinking. And I don't know, did you guys see that part? It was he wasn't that quick to, you would thought he would be on the phone right away, calling, but he didn't. Yeah, it's all of a sudden he put 2 and 2 together and kind of said to Steve, I don't know, but I think this Charley guy, he might be in Salem. He might be, dating Claire. This might be the same one. Oh, but like Steve said, what are the odds, of somebody named Charley? And so anyway, he calls Rafe, and then Rafe goes to his apartment. Yeah, and then he called Marlena, who happened to be in with Ben, talking to Ben about, Ben's still having a hard time with Sierra, so he goes to see Marlena. So they decide to go try to find Claire, but Marlena doesn't tell Ben what's going on. He just says, you know what I mean? John tells her about Charley, although Marlena has an idea because she had hypnotized Allie, and Allie was, saying different things. And she said it's something like, well, I don't know, Charley just reminds me so much of Tripp. So I think Marlena was starting to get this thing, but she didn't. She just told Ben that Claire was in danger.
Yeah.
So they go over to Claire's place, and they couldn't find her. And here, finally, they find her. She was, I guess, Charley convinced her they were going to have sex. I mean, he didn't force her or anything, but she.
Yeah.
So Ben comes storming in, get away from her, get off of her, and Claire doesn't understand what's going on. And so he says, your grandmother wants to talk to you. You have to go talk to Marlena. Of course, Ben still doesn't know why. So how did you like what he called Charley? He says, I'll just stay here with Chucky. I thought that was funny. So yeah, then getting to where Anna was saying, Claire is talking to Marlena, but Marlena never really. She says, well, you just have to come with me, and when John gets back, he'll explain it to you. Now, don't you find it kind of odd that Marlena wouldn't have just told Claire right then and there what was going on? I thought that was kind of strange.
Weird.
Yeah. So then Claire says she needed to go change her clothes because she was just in her little nightie. And she went back, and was Charley, because Charley hadn't left yet, right?
No, he had left.
Back there?
No,
did he already
then got him out the back way. Yeah.
He went out the back way. Okay. Because I kept thinking, what if Charlie's still back there? And, like, does he try to kidnap her or something? But I guess that didn't happen because I couldn't remember. Did Ben take him out the back way? Okay.
Yeah, and he
found
out
what
that
happened.
Ava was gone from the apartment.
So basically that's what happened. I mean, Marlena didn't really explain it to Claire, just that she had to come back, and wait and let John explain it. So I can't understand why. See, that just didn't. I didn't understand that. That just didn't make sense to me. I guess that was the last 10 minutes of the show. I don't really remember what actually was the end of that show before Fridays. But I just know Rafe found Ava, and Ava was having hallucinations because Charley had drugged her. Yeah. And then, so she goes back to the hospital, and she takes her to the hospital, and then Kayla's there. And then that's how Kayla finds out, because Ava says about Charley, having another son. So there's all that. So I guess that'll be coming out. I guess in the previews, Charley and Tripp are going to run into each other and stuff. So I don't know. That's kind of how that's going on with Charley.
So Charley doesn't know yet that Charley doesn't know yet what's going on as far as this week goes?
No. But I guess he's suspecting because I think because Ben comes in and says, Marlena wants to talk to you, Claire, something, it's important to tell you. But no, he doesn't know yet exactly, what's going on.
When he gets home and finds that Ava's not there, he'll figure it out. Oh, yeah.
And here's what, you would think Marlena would have told Ben, because more or less Ben let Charley go. Yeah. He let Charley leave.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense. Marlena knows that possibly Charley was the one that raped Allie, so why is she waiting for... Yeah, so why is she waiting for John to come back to tell Claire? It was kind of weird. That's what I didn't understand. So
yeah, I don't know.
So that's kind of where we're at. So I don't know who's going to finally get Charley or what. Or he went back to the apartment, right, Jen? And
he's going to find out that his mom's gone.
He didn't see Ava.
And he tried to leave and wait for that the door.
And wait for that the door. Okay, he tried to leave. Yeah.
Well, it kind of sucks because on Friday they weren't on at all. That group wasn't on at all, right?
No.
And it kind of made me feel like they lost a little momentum. Like it would have been better to have like the cliffhanger on Friday for that or something. I don't know. That was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
They were building up momentum for the story. Yeah. I don't know.
It's kind of how they do it. They'll have a certain kind of stories, and then they're not on. And there's other stories on, and then they come back to it maybe like a couple of days after that. But that's kind of where that story's hanging on it. Yeah. And then we had Did you want to talk about Kate? We had that on earlier in the a couple of days before that. Kate and Jen.
Well,
Kate
I have to
say
I really like those scenes. I still miss Missy. I still wish she were on, but since she's not, and I know she had the 2 grandbabies coming and the COVID stuff and all that going on, so I can understand why she maybe just said, I'm taking a pass right now or whatever. But I just, I do miss her a lot. But but I do like the scenes that now that they're writing Jennifer to be more reasonable and normal. At first she was so annoying that you couldn't root for her at all. It was hard enough just to get used to the fact that it wasn't Missy Reeves playing her, but and I still am not used to that. But I have to admit, I've liked the scenes that she and Kate have had. I have to say they play off of each other well, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway,
anyway, we're good.
I mean, it's not the ideal circumstance, but it is what it is. But so they come to Kate and Jen talking in the town square or whatever, and Jennifer's like, well, I just don't understand. She's like, I don't understand why. Like, so you're ashamed of being with Jake, and that's why you have this big secret and all. And then, I thought it was great because they gave Kate some great dialogue instead of it always being everybody hates Kate and everybody's beating up on Kate. It was nice because they allowed her to express. She's like, she wasn't ashamed of him. She was, in a way, embarrassed or ashamed of herself. And, she admitted, she's like, I know people are going to look and be like, oh, she's older than he is, and, and be judgmental and stuff. And she goes, I do have feelings, and I do, care what, And I did love Jennifer's comment. She says, wait a minute, Kate, you're Kate friggin' Roberts. Why do you care what anybody thinks? You never care what anybody thinks.
What anybody thinks? Yeah.
She's about to say, you're a badass. Why do you care what anybody thinks? Yeah. But I loved that. I thought that was cute. But it was nice. And then I was like, oh man, Jake, Kake. I think Diva Carey called him Kake was the first one that I saw calling him Kake. So Kake, they were, I was like, oh, they're broken up and I really like them. And I thought, gosh, the way they ended it was so mean. And I was like, I know Kate didn't feel that way about him, but, she made him feel awful. So I was like, oh, man. Well, I loved the dialogue where basically she told Jen that. She opened up to Jen. And then and then I think Jen kind of encouraged her,
if you want him, go for it.
Go back. Go back. Go get him.
Get some judgment, but why let that stop you? Kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of nice because Kate hardly ever has a friend or a peer that supports her and stuff. So then Jake finds her because he's trying to rush out. He rushed out of the mansion to go find Kate because he realized that stuff was going to hit the fan because Abigail was going to surely tell Chad that Kate was the one Jake was involved with, not her. And so he finds her, and so Jen's like, oh, no, I need to go. Bye. She gets out of there. She, rushes out away. And so, he comes over, and he's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know. And he told her Kate, what happened with the whole, Chad confronting Abigail and them being in his room, but nothing was going on, blah blah blah. But anyway, the cat had gotten out of the bed, like you said, Jen. So then he says, not that it's going to matter because we're over, right? And all that stuff. And she's like, well, what if I don't want it to be over? And he looks at her and he's like, okay, what does that mean? And he says, because I'm not going to run around and hide. I'm just not. That's just not. I'm done. If that, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but. And jump in if you guys think of something I'm missing or that I say wrong. But the gist of it was that, I'm done hiding and sneaking around. So if that's the way you want to play it, then I'm done, But, and she's like, well, and then didn't she tell him that she said it wasn't, he's like, well, I thought you were ashamed of me or whatever, embarrassed to be seen with me or whatever. And he's like, and she's like, no, and then she kind of told him. And he's like, why would you? What? He's like, kind of like, why would you be in? And like ashamed or embarrassed for you? I mean, like he thinks she's amazing, and he's like, why would you? And she's like, well, I know I may not seem like I have self-esteem issues, but I've got feelings, and I've got, I don't always, I have things about myself that I don't know. She's basically just saying she had weaknesses and she had things that she fell short on, and that she, had some, had some feelings there, and just like wasn't just this hard-hearted person and everything, and that, but anyway, so basically, so they're standing at this point talking, and and she's like, so she's like, I think she basically agreed that she said if they were to continue, that she would definitely not mind being seen out, being out with him and like all that, and then he kisses her or something. How did it go? Like she asked him what he thought or something, and he kissed her.
He kissed her, yeah.
And then it was kind of like your question or something like that, like basically. So I was like, yay, we have some more cake. I love it. So I was happy about that. And trying to think, did she have any other scenes? I'm trying to think if there was anything else besides those.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think those
no, she didn't. I don't think.
Were the cake
it was just
scenes,
that Tuesday or whatever. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday. Monday, I think. Yeah.
Cake.
So that made me happy. But they had some really good dialogue, I thought.
Yeah, because at first I thought, okay, you thought they were done, and then there was like a little clip there when she was talking to Jen, and then so now they're back together. So until I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens now until we'll see. Poor Kate.
Nothing ever lasts.
Well.
Hardly.
No. Oh. And then, like you were saying, that Jake went out to find her because he knows, Chad is going to find out, which, Chad shows up and finds them, Jake has his shirt off, she's in her nightgown, so of course he assumes they slept together, and he's screaming at Abigail, like, why did you book that room? And she keeps telling him, I didn't do it, I didn't book the room, until finally it comes out, and, she finally tells Chad, it wasn't me sleeping with Jake, it was Kate. So Chad's kind of shocked by that, and she's trying to tell him, about Gwen, and they kind of figured out, Gwen has something to do with it. And before that, Gwen walked in on Jack going through the papers. I think that was, I don't know if that was the week before. I think that ended kind of, and did it start the week with him confronting Gwen about that? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you stalking my family? And she's not stalking. She was just doing her research. And did you remember anything more about those scenes, Jen?
Just that.
Trying to think what else.
She's like saying, I have a right to know about my employers. It's like, oh, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's more or less she was trying to, like, cover her, tracks that way with Jack. But I don't think, and Jack wasn't buying it. I don't think Jack was buying it. And then Jack had left, and in the meantime, Abby's saying to Chad, let's just go down and ask her, let's confront her. So, and Abby did. She confronted her, and I like I said, I have to say, Marci Miller I thought she did a great job. I think I've been seeing a lot of good comments out there, good performance that she gave when she blasted. Did you guys see that? See that part where she went like, she just about swung her eyes out, but she just. I was thinking she was going to punch her.
I was hoping she would.
Yeah, yeah,
she was.
It's funny how like
you can
like
feel it.
Yeah, like that. Like Marci will play Abby as like the mousy little kind of calmer,
but she's scrappy.
But then when when something happens like that, she's like. It's a whole different transformation. She like comes at her enraged, and and Gwen like met her, like Gwen was shocked, like, oh my goodness, it's like another side of Abby she didn't see, and she just like kind of like laid it out there, and she says, she made her leave, get out of my house, get out, and everything. And then there's like Chad, like they're like, he's such a wuss. I'm telling you.
Yep.
It's like, so I don't know. So I thought those were really good scenes. So I don't know how.
Then he gets blackmailed.
Gwen's gonna get out.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, then Gwen tried to blackmail him, like to say that, I'm going to tell Abby that we slept together. But more or less, I think Abby's kind of figuring that out. But do you really think they slept together? I still don't think they did. I think she's just lying.
I doubt it.
I think he was like passed out drunk. I don't know. But then they're saying that Gwen's going to be pregnant, but it's going to be with the Stefano clone.
Yeah.
From Dr. Roll.
Well,
I've been hearing that.
Because Yeah,
Which
I think because they never actually
showed
them. Because they didn't show them actually kissing on screen or anything, really.
Or like
but
in bed doing. I mean, it just.
Yeah.
But Chad thinks he
did.
did. Yeah, but he was passed out drunk.
Yeah. I knew the very
second.
I knew before she even said open her mouth. As soon as Abigail, I thought, oh crap, he's going to be blackmailed into keeping her there.
Yep.
Yeah, keeping her there. Yeah. So I don't know. So that's what's going on with them. Let's see what else. Oh, we had the twins. The twins were kidnapped. Yep. They lost their twins, so she's missing her. The twins went missing. I mean, they took forever to go down and finally get them. If they would have left when they should have left, they would have.
Yeah,
they just missed the kidnapper by like a couple of minutes. And here we find out the kidnapper is Dr. Raynor. If anybody remembers, she's the one that Xander got to switch the babies at the hospital. So she's back. And, of course, we still don't know who she's working for, but more likely it's Vivian.
What was that again? Who
Dr.
was it?
Raynor.
Dr. Raynor is the one that kidnapped the baby.
I saw her. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I saw her, but I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, she's the one that Xander hired to switch Brady and Sarah's baby.
I think I missed some of those. Okay. Oh,
the doctor at the hospital.
How did she manage to get hired back?
Well, that's how she got the babies out, because everyone thought that she was just hired back and she was still at the hospital. You have to have all that clear and stuff. Yeah, they just, that's how easy it was.
That hospital,
and then Valerie
waiting to happen.
Yeah, like Valerie's there now. And she's trying to calm Lani down, like saying, oh, they have security. The babies will not. They have their little tags. The babies will not possibly get out of the hospital. It's just too much security. Yeah, wait a minute. This is Salem. This is Salem Hospital. What are you talking about? Security and, so. So we had so now Lani's all upset because she thinks that she kind of went into a panic attack and thinking of, because like more or less she kept saying this can't happen again because she lost David. So we think it's probably Vivian going for revenge, crazy Vivian. So we're just waiting to see that. And so Bonnie comes across Dr. Raynor and sees the twins, and of course she's holding them, and she's, so I guess sooner or later it's going to come. She's going to find out the twins were kidnapped, and she's going to remember seeing that lady. So I'm thinking that's coming up. Yeah. How did you like her? Does Bonnie all of a sudden get a Southern accent? Like,
I think so. What?
Did you notice her talking with a Southern accent?
She used to have one. Well, remember, she used to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but she doesn't, like when she's with Justin. Like, she hadn't lately. It just seemed like all of a sudden it was like more pronounced.
Yeah,
a little bit, because she was talking to Philip, or she was just putting it on with Philip. I don't know when she was talking to Philip. That could be.
Because remember, I vaguely remember when she was with Mickey, or when she was in that era. I think I tuned in one time. I hated that, but
with Mickey,
I don't think I was watching full time back then. I think I just happened to turn it on. I was like, ew, who's that? Why is she playing that character? And I didn't like Bonnie back then at all. And like when I first started tuning back in, and she was on with the Mimi and all that. But But anyway, I think she had a Southern accent then. So, you're right. I hadn't noticed it much recently.
Before.
Yeah.
And of course, she was talking to Philip about Mimi. Because Philip
can regenerate his leg that was blown off in the war. I guess she can regenerate her Southern accent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like continuity is not their strength. I don't know. Sometimes.
No, neither is history. Sometimes they've got a little bit of, sometimes they are.
The Culletons are really good at writing in history and their dialogues, I've noticed. Yeah, the Culletons, because they've been
sometimes they keep with history
on for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because someone said, of course, Valerie was back, and so they kind of had little scenes there with Abe and Valerie, kind of thinking maybe can they get back together. Yeah. What's that?
She wasn't happy about the baby's name. She thought since it was Carver Malcolm.
That was cute.
It was going to be Valerie.
Valerie, yeah. Joel? You mean after Jolie?
I love her hair. I mean, I'm so glad she decided to do her hair, let her hair grow and stuff.
Oh, it's a different
she's so much
look,
prettier.
Sure.
It's just a totally different look. Look. And she's
makes
really
her look younger.
Beautiful with that hair. Yeah. I thought she looked like maybe like too like strict or mean. I don't know. It was just the way it's perceived. I just didn't think she's just so much. I just really love it. I love her hair. But yeah.
At first, when she came back the second time, I almost didn't recognize. I thought it was another actress at first because she looked so different. But then she started talking, and I'm there. Yeah, no, that's her. But she just it's amazing what a hairstyle can do, I guess, for anybody. I suppose. Look at the difference when Sarah
cut Sarah's hair. I mean, when they give her that cut.
Oh well.
But
it made her
that's
worse.
A whole other story. But I thought her hair.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
The rest of her is awful, but her haircut was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you talk about that one because I fast forwarded through a lot of that part. But anyway.
Oh yeah, well we can talk about Sarah. Then there's Sarah. Of course, there's Sarah and Xander. They're still trying to, she got the thing, the flash drive or whatever, and they're trying to figure out how he's embezzling money. How is he embezzling money? Xander's frustrated. She's trying to get him into bed, and then she's going through all his clothes. She says, "You are like a pigsty. Look at this. Your laundry is like, it's all you need to do laundry." And this little light bulb goes off. Laundry. That's how he's doing it. He's not money going out, embezzlement. It's the laundering, the money coming in. And then he figures it out, and whatever he gets into, he finds proof that Philip is doing, is laundering the money through the mob and stuff. So he's all happy with Sarah about that. So that's kind of, but then she was doing her stupid baby talk again, which I hate that they ruined the character of Sarah because the beginning, Sarah, even when she was with Rex at the beginning, I liked them together. And then when they got her with Xander, I mean, that could have been a really good couple. And they just kind of ruined it, whatever they did. I don't know whether it's her or the writers or whatever, but kind of not as, I don't really like them as much anymore.
I agree.
So they need to find somebody new with, I don't know what happened, but they need to find somebody else for Xander at this point. I don't know. So, and then speaking of Philip's, he was talking to Chloe, and he's still upset about that. And she wants to get him help. She wants to tell Brady, which I think she's about ready to tell Brady, but she didn't. I mean, Brady came up, but Philip doesn't want him. Of course, Philip doesn't want him. Yeah, Philip doesn't want Brady to know, of all people. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And then we have Brady and Kristen. Kristen saw the picture of him kissing Chloe. So she's all upset and jealous and blah, blah, blah. And he has to, assure her that, everything's okay. And, and it was just friends and everything. And he shows her the pictures of the twins. And so we have that. That was going on. Not too much there. And then we had little scenes of Rafe and Nicole. She was complaining about Eric not seeing him, not being able to see him. And so they're kind of setting that up. She keeps confiding in Rafe. So, too much. Does anybody think Rafe and Ava? Because I'm thinking they're going to try. I'm thinking they might be trying to redeem Ava.
I wondered about that.
Does anybody think that?
I actually wondered because he's the one that found her, and they have this
and he was
kind of
comforting
connection.
Her.
Because plus,
I can see them.
He tends to kind of start having feelings for the people that he like is protecting or whatever. And she was like so vulnerable in that moment and all. I totally picked up on that. Yep, definitely.
Yes. I can see that. And I think they're going to try to redeem Ava, with this son.
Yeah.
She's going to get closer to Tripp. And she's going to turn over. Yeah. And she was the victim. At this point now, she's the victim. And she, but I don't know. So I don't know Charley. I don't know if there's a way they can redeem him. I heard that he gets shot or gets killed. I don't know. I kind of like the actor. I kind of like Charley. I kind of do too. I think he's done a good job. And you can tell he's really, like when he was waiting for Claire, he was all nervous and all. You can tell he's not very experienced or very secure. And so it's like, so then he rapes Allie, but you also kind of think, does he not get it? I mean, is there a part of him that he's just, that's true. Yeah, good point. I'm thinking there's a split personality. They did it with Abby.
Because they purposely made him not act like a creep with her, and he was actually sitting on the bed all nervous and what do I do? He did not act like he was some aggressive animal.
And that's when he has his glasses on. When he takes his glasses off when he's with Ava, he's the nasty person without the glasses. The nice person when he puts his glasses on.
Oh, yep.
There's something there with the glasses.
And remember
play a big,
uncle,
thing.
His cousin or uncle or whatever said
something about that.
He's got something about him, but then but he's got
he's good
a brain
with
like a computer or something. Yeah, or something in his brain. He said something about his brain and numbers. He goes, I'll give him that, or something like that. But he didn't think real highly of him otherwise. But
right.
So and I'm sure there will be the whole mental illness theme and all, and so all that. But
if they want to redeem him, they could.
Redeem him. I guess they could. But he has done a good job. I will say that.
Yes, I think so too.
But then what's the other tricky thing though is he is actually Henry's father. So then how do they manage that? I'm just going to be excited. I'm going to be really happy when everybody has to eat their words to Tripp because they've all been so mean to him.
I was just going to say that.
Really been so firm about it. I really didn't do this, and I know it was hard for anybody to believe, but
they're all, there's going to be a long line of people that have to eat crow.
But I will say Roman was half right.
What did Roman say?
Roman was half right.
Oh, yeah, Roman really laid into him.
Yeah, but he was right on about Ava. Roman has no business even wanting to find that witch. She killed his father.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, Ava, I can understand that.
Well, and look at what she did to his sister, too. She killed his father.
Yeah.
He was responsible for his father being killed, and then he kidnapped and almost killed his sister and stuff. So, he definitely is not But
for Ava.
Definitely saw there was, maybe does Nicole get jealous because he's paying attention to Ava? And see, Ava and Nicole, they've mentioned it several times that they used to be
kind of friends. They were friends,
I don't remember that a whole lot, but they mentioned it a few times. So so who knows if, she reconnects with Nicole and then it's Rafe's there, and so then maybe Nicole gets jealous or something. I could definitely see something like that. But I even felt sorry for Ava when he found her and she was hallucinating and stuff, and I can't stand Ava, but
I didn't have one shred of pity.
She was very vulnerable there, but and they made the point that her father had drugged her all those years and all that stuff. So, but she's still
took the Tripp away from her,
self-centered and stuff. Yeah. But we'll see, and I'm also curious who Charley's father is, if that's ever going to play any kind of role. Not that we would know him necessarily, but if that would, it's not enough that he has a crazy mother, but who's his father?
And his father raised him, I guess, right? He grew up with his father.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, but but you're right, because he's so clumsy. It's almost he's so clumsy and all, and then it's that's that's what his cousin, uncle, or whatever it was. I think his cousin, because Ava's his cousin, right? The Angela.
Abe and Angela are cousins.
He's such a clumsy. He's like so clumsy, and he's like, you know. But I will give him this. He's very good with his brain is like a computer. He's very good with numbers or something. So, yeah.
Probably why he got hired at Titan, whatever job he does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and didn't he somehow? Well, because he was in with Ava, but he didn't know. She didn't know that he was working. I thought.
No.
Once we figured out
she didn't even know he was there.
We thought that. I thought that she had planted him in there, but turned out he had done that on his own. So I. Supposedly.
Yeah.
So then what's going to happen with, here Chloe's trying to help Philip and everything, and now the person that's is holding this over his head is in a hospital having a mental breakdown because of all this medication and stuff. So what's going to happen there, I wonder? I don't know how that, are the bad guys going to come after Philip directly, or what?
Well, he did get a phone call from the bad guys. He thought, now Ava's gone and Ava's missing, but he still got a call from the other members of the Talley family.
That's right. So they know where he lives.
Big family. They're still following. Yeah, they still know where he's at. So
then do you think possibly, since Chloe's getting this information and Xander's figuring it out, do you think Chloe and Xander their paths are going to cross at some point, and then they're going to kind of also figure things out?
And they have crossed a little bit.
Yeah, because I have picked up a little bit of that too. But
so that's another possible pairing there, which I think they could be good together.
Yeah,
I don't know. The way they pair couples around here and switch them all around, so you never know.
Yep.
Then I had heard, I don't know if it's a rumor, spoiler, that Jack A's coming on.
Yep. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and I heard that something about maybe she's that Dr. Raynor's mother. I don't know. I don't know how much of a character they're going to keep her on. But I don't know. That could be just, I think that's just a rumor.
Oh, okay.
But I'm thinking, is that somebody for Abe? You know? She could be for,
I love her, though.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what, position or role or how she's coming on to the show, but really her.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all I can say as far as
she'll be coming.
concerned is I'm really glad that this wasn't just a roll in the hay and that they actually have feelings for each other. Even if it doesn't last, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm just glad because they always, stick her with people and then, soon as the next one comes along, that they're done. It's just I'm just glad that they have more depth than I thought they were going to have in the relationship. So that's cool. So, and then Jack's moved back in with he's back into the Horton house with Jennifer.
He's back in the Horton house. Yeah. They moved out of the DeMira Mansion because that DeMira Mansion's getting crowded like the Curiosity.
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about Gwen and when he confronted her when she first came home? Did we talk
a little
about
bit, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But did you want to add more to it? We just kind of brushed by it when he confronted her and all she said was saying, "Well, I'm doing research," But Jack didn't seem to buy that.
I thought
he didn't
really
seem to buy that.
Though, because I'm trying to picture her thinking you're my father. Yeah, because when he said something about I've heard a lot of people, but the most important thing in the world to me is my family, and she's thinking, for example, you were really there for me. I really picked up on that dynamic. She's really thinking, you're a great dad.
And so, do we think that Laura is the mother? Is her mother? Do we think that they're going there?
Until somebody mentioned that, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
But did I tell y'all I saw
either.
that Jamie Lynn Bower's coming back for at least reprising her role for a little bit as Laura?
Yeah.
So I would imagine that it has something to do with it.
And then, of course, there's that history
now, my
of them
question
together.
is, though, why wouldn't Laura have known she gave birth to Gwen? Or, how did that happen? That,
or maybe she did and never told anybody and gave the baby up.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
She found out, and by that time they found out who they were. And she had the baby and then just never said anything and gave her up.
Yeah.
So,
that could be.
I don't know. Unless Stefano was involved somehow and took the baby from her, like he does.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Back then, who knows? So that's another. Because I had been hearing that Melissa was the mother
I'm thinking
there for a while.
Melissa.
You think it's Melissa?
I had heard that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think Laura's coming back for then?
Maybe to help Abby or something. Maybe Abby had to break or something.
Maybe so. I don't know.
I hope not, though. I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm waiting for something to set Abby off, but I don't know. She looked in control.
Honestly, Chad's
in control with Gwen.
And I was going to say, and I don't even think Chad is worth it. So I'd be like, Gwen, have at it. Bye. But I mean, you know. But I loved watching Chad's eyes as he's realizing, oh man. And then I liked how I actually saw some fire in him after Abigail left the room. He went after Gwen. I was like, oh, he's pissed.
Yeah.
He is really pissed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he knows he was played, set up.
Yep. He got played.
Yeah. Well, they all did, actually. Abby, too.
Yeah.
Except for Anna.
They all did.
Except for Anna, exactly.
Except for Anna. She knew it the minute she was introduced to Gwen, and she said, oh, Gwen. I like how she always said, oh, Gwen. Looked at, They need to keep Anna, on the show, for sure.
And Tony.
And Tony, yeah, both of them. They just add that something, fun and, I think they'd be good addition to the Maris. I mean, they need somebody. To stay on permanently. So, I don't know. But I think they're on another. I think next week. I know Anna is because I saw she's in the previews.
Oh, good.
Talking, yeah. I think it's in spoilers for in a couple of weeks. So.
Good.
I don't know anything. We didn't see any Victor or Maggie, right? I didn't see.
No.
Was there? Nothing was on with them. Okay. I think that's about it. I don't know. Anybody have any other things of spoilers, rumors? I don't know who else is coming back other than what we said.
What about with what's the name? Allie having and if I might have checked out for a second if I didn't hear you. You guys might have talked about it already, but with when she saw what's his name at the I always forget the name, Charley, at the pub, meeting up with Adam.
No, we didn't talk about that.
Okay.
We didn't.
Well, and she's like, and then when he said arrivederci.
Yeah.
Yes. That triggered something.
She whoa, and so I wonder, and then she was in a session with Grandma Marlena, which, every good therapist always gives their, does therapy with their grandchildren.
Family.
But anyway, so, and of course that helped, I think that helped Marlena piece together some things, but so that was interesting how that unfolded, but we did talk about that part
which
a
they
bit,
should have done from the beginning.
The part where, exactly. But the fact that she was triggered by that, and then why would I feel like he seems why would I feel like he reminds me of Tripp and all that, and so she's starting to realize so it's all going to fall into place soon, I guess.
Yeah.
Now the question is, do you think after all this, do you think Tripp and Allie will actually be drawn to each other after she's hated
I'm thinking
him
that might.
for all this time? I'm wondering too.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that could be a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of cute. They are cute, and they're not related, are they? Or are they?
Or are they?
No, because he's Steve.
No.
So they wouldn't be.
Steve. And Allie is a Brady and
he wouldn't have that would have been a whole controversy in and of itself as it is.
You have to
already.
Isn't it funny? But you have to stop and think. Even all the new babies being born. Let's see now. How are they all related? Now who can they be with?
You know what? The writers must have a chart. They must have to have a chart of who's blood related and who's all that. No.
Yeah, because you got now
But,
the new, the Carver, the twins,
Uh-huh.
Carver, and you got Horton in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Well, I hope the baby kidnapping doesn't drag out too long. And one more observation. Did it not seem like it took them forever to get out of that damn room? And go
I
get
know.
their
It's
kids?
like,
I was
seriously?
just like,
well, that's what I said.
I mean, 3 episodes later, they're still in there, and I'm like, go get your damn kids, for crying out loud.
Yes. If you would have got your kids a lot earlier, you would have beat the kidnapper to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cracking me up. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So annoying. Okay.
Hurry,
all right. That's
there.
the last thing I wanted to
They
say.
had to have those stupid little conversations about the car seats and
Yes.
like, okay, go get your babies. Oh well.
And this is all
right.
supposedly to get back at Lani.
Yeah.
I'm thinking for killing Stefan.
Yeah.
Because she shot Stefan, and Vivian's always blamed her for that, even though he stepped in front of her.
Yeah. You step in front of a psycho, you might get shot. You know.
Well, and it was Vivian's fault to begin with because she wouldn't have been being chased by the cops if she hadn't been doing bad stuff. So anyway, whatever. Nobody ever takes personal responsibility around there anyway. So why should we expect Vivian to start? I am curious to see Linda Dano playing her character. I'm really curious to see how that is. I used to love her. Like
see how she plays her.
So. Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Yep.
Right. I don't have anything else. I think we covered everything. Let's see what happens next week and see what happens with the football. You know, I don't know.
All right. Good luck.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yep.
You might hear me screaming. So.
Take care.
All right.
All right. Have a good
weekend.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.